What's up folks, CrossSG back with a quick analysis on the two current best in slot contenders for a defense built support Albedo. We're still a fair ways away from the full review, but I thought this info was important enough to get its own video. So let's get into it. Quick summary of what a defense support Albedo is. We're essentially building him for full defense DPS, basically the same way one would build a C6 Noelle carry, just with different set bonuses. This build focuses on scaling solely Albedo's transient blossom damage as much as possible. It is fully viable at C0 and gets better at C2 because defense scaling then applies to his burst as well. Yes, we do now officially know that his C2 only affects his burst. Alright, on to the weapons. There are two weapons for this build that stand far above anything else in the game, and both of them are what I'd consider low investment weapons, i.e. it doesn't cost much to acquire either of them. The first is of course the Festering Desire, which is the 4-star sword we get from the Dragonspine campaign. It has energy recharge as its secondary stat, and its bonus increases the damage and crit rate of Albedo's E-skill. It also seems like we'll eventually be able to get it to max refine by the end of the current event, so it works out to a total of 12% crit rate and 32% E-skill damage, which is a very decent boost for a skill that is basically auto-procced every 2 seconds and easily up 100% of the time. The second weapon is the 3-star Harbinger of Dawn. Now this was a popular suggestion in the comment section of my impressions video, and this weapon is pretty much built for a defense Albedo. At C0 we are pretty much only scaling his transient blossom damage, so the low 3-star base attack doesn't matter that much. What matters is it brings 28% crit rate at R5 as long as Albedo is above 90% HP, which is really easy to maintain running him as a support unit. Its secondary is crit damage, bringing up to 46.9% at level 90, which is honestly a pretty high value for a 3-star. So the Harbinger is essentially a pure stat stick for a defense Albedo, allowing you to put a lot of weight into crit damage stats across your artifacts, scaling blossom damage through the roof. Okay, so both of these weapons are very similar. They both give crit rate and increase the overall damage of the necessary skills. But is there a clear winner here for Albedo in general? Let's take a look at some math. Now assuming both weapons are level 90 and R5, using the exact same artifacts, just swapping out the weapons, these are the stats on my Albedo with the various modifiers below. I've also included a C2 calculation for those who are curious. And here's how the damage numbers look like. On the left we have the values for the Harbinger, and on the right the Festering Desire. Both are color coded for easier viewing, with gains or losses indicated in the center. I have worked out the non-crit damage, crit damage, and average damage factoring in crit rate. As you can see, with the exception of non-crit damage, the Harbinger of Dawn beats the Festering Desire across the board by a pretty large margin, even with the skills that scale with attack. Of course, keep in mind that we are in a full defense build. Naturally, with a full attack build beyond a certain point, the attack-based skills will scale better with the Festering Desire, but that point is somewhere well over 2000 sheet attack, and C2 would still swing things back into the Harbinger's favor. Now this comes down to the sheer amount of crit rate and crit damage provided by the Harbinger of Dawn. This crit rate and crit damage applies universally throughout his kit, whereas the Festering Desire's bonus applies to only his E-skill. Full disclosure, before Albedo launched, I did have suspicions that the Harbinger would indeed scale well with Albedo's defensive abilities, but my gut feeling at the time still told me that the Festering Desire would probably work out better overall just because of the bonus E-skill damage and higher base attack. As it turns out, you never really know for sure till you've done the math. Alright, to wrap things up, what does this mean? Well, simply put, outside of the Dragonspine area, the Harbinger of Dawn looks to be the best in slot weapon for a full defense Albedo, period, both at C0 and C2. Now I say this because currently during the event, the Festering Desire does receive some massive bonuses while in Dragonspine, but this looks to be a temporary thing specific to the current event and the Dragonspine area. As a 3-star weapon, the Harbinger is very easy to refine and significantly cheaper to enhance. anyone who has done F2P pulling should have enough copies for a max refine unless you are really unlucky or have been using all your 3-star weapons as fodder without keeping at least 1 copy of each at R5. Now if you did that and don't have the Harbinger, don't sweat it. Use the Festering Desire for now. It's still a really good weapon for Albedo, and it's only a matter of time before you get a Harbinger to max refine from future pulls. All that being said, it is not necessary to take the Harbinger of Dawn to level 90 if you are free to play or resource starved. Level 80 is more than sufficient. We are talking a difference of only 4% more crit damage at the cost of over 100 Mystic Enhancement Stones and a good chunk of Mora going from level 80 to 90. Alright, that's all for today folks. Albedo is shaping up to be a surprisingly versatile unit that is very F2P friendly to build. But of course I'll get into that in greater detail when I get the full review out. For now, thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, crush that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.